What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Money, covering trending topics from local to abroad. Politics, I'm asking the questions: who's fooling who? Sports, from soccer, boxing, and MMA, I cover it all. Monthly motivational talks to inspire you. One thing for sure, I bring the receipts. So like and subscribe to be part of the movement. What's up, boys and girls? It's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Money himself, and we're back at it again. And this time around, we'll be touching a very touching human rights topic, and that is what the stance that the Ugandan government has taken since the 21st of March in terms of it addressing Ugandan government addressing the LGBTQ movement in their country. And of course, before attacking such a story, you need to find yourself, um, number one, being informed. You need to inform yourself before making any statements. Number two, you need to be a good listener. And number three, you have to take out emotions out of this topic and look at the facts. Uh, Number four, you have to be a person that is neutral when you are doing content creating on YouTube, because taking a stance this side or that side will eventually um, offend this or those people. So when it comes to this topic, I try to do a lot of research. It's a topic that I'm familiar with myself. I've been around gay and lesbian people and trans people, and you find them a lot. For those who know what the State Theatre is, I studied drama and dance at the State Theatre Monith Dance and Drama School back in 2000 and what was it 2009. And of course you're going to meet a lot of gay in terms of the ballet classes and your contemporary movement. Even in acting classes you're going to meet them. So I made friends and I grew up around those people, so I know them very well. And I've worked for a gay boss, and I have to say it was nice working with him at most of the time. Now that I'm working with straight guys, I can say that guy was one of the best bosses that I had in terms of him being a human. Okay. So I want to address this issue, and I want you guys to allow me to unfold and unpack it properly the way it's supposed to be unpacked. And the main reason I'm one of the main reason I'm doing this topic is because the EFF has released a statement that Julius Malema will be going to picket at Uganda, at the High Court at Uganda, saying they want to be there, and they want to stand for the marginalized group. But let's quickly read what the EFF said in their statement. At the top, their heading says CIC Julius Malema to lead the EFF picket against Uganda's anti-homosexual bill. Very interesting. If you go to the second last paragraph, it says the EFF as a protest movement with an unwavering commitment to marginalized and oppressed groups of people will picket at the Uganda High Commissions. Okay, it says on the last paragraph, it says, we call on all progressive forces to stand in solidarity with the Ugandan lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex LGBTI people to join the picket led by the Commander in Chief, that is the CIC, Julius Malema. The picket will take place under the following details, and they state the details there. I wanted to read that part so that you guys can understand where I'm going. It's very interesting that the EFF has taken this stance, and of course, um, we are not here to judge. You guys know on this channel we deal with facts. Facts will we cannot debate facts. We have to by all means, in our opinion, be informed by the facts that we are reading, or the facts that we see with our own eyes. So let me just play a few clips and come back to this topic.
President Yoweri Museveni was ushered into the conference center of the State House in Entebbe and immediately, without wasting any time, signed the controversial anti-homosexuality bill into law. After enacting the bill into law, President Museveni said homosexual acts have been fanned by arrogant Western groups who come to derail children, most especially in schools. President Museveni added that recruiters, mercenaries and exhibitors of homosexuality will be punished harshly.
Even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and elsewhere, and you are attracted by a man. That's a very serious matter. It means there's something really wrong with you.
Okay, so now for those who don't know what transgender is, I think it is very important that we first break down the meaning and what it all entails. It's very important that we start breaking this subject down slowly, so that when I get to my point, you understand exactly where I'm coming from. Because everything on this channel, King Said So, will be based on facts and facts alone. You understand? Do share an opinion, but on our opinion is informed by the facts that we have established. So what is transgender? Let's just quickly listen.
Defining gender transition, verywellhealth.com says it like this. The transgender people are people who feel that their gender identity is different from the gender associated with their assigned sex at birth. When a transgender person chooses to undergo a process to align their desired gender, that is called gender transitioning. An individual may go through social transition by changing their name and pronouns. You've seen that in our culture, of course. Or a medical transition by changing their body through hormone therapy or surgery. People who wish to transition may undertake one, all, or none of these steps. And so
a family can be made up in many different ways.
It's called SOGI, for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identification, a curriculum that teaches public school students across Canada to celebrate the homosexual lifestyle and that gender is fluid. In other words, your gender is not dependent on what parts you were born with, but rather what you feel like in the moment.
There's people that are boys, there's people that are girls, there are people whose gender might be a little bit of both, or might even be neither.
Lessons include books about transgender children, such as 10,000 Dresses, and songs like The Rainbow Song.
Gender won't decide the choices we make. Some boys like dressing up, some girls like catching snakes.
The SOGI curriculum started in British Columbia in 2016 and is quickly spreading throughout Canada.
I just thought, who decided that this was okay to teach our...
Okay, now that we have established transgender and I've played you guys some few clips, just to get your mind working, around this topic, we want to say, I would say the best way to break down this subject, especially us as African people, because number one, we can agree that this transgender, lesbian, gays, and LGBTQ movement did not start in Africa. It started in America. In fact, it started somewhere in the 50s when it first broke out. So what we need to do, you and I, is a simple case study. We do a case study, and then from the case study, we can be informed in our decision making our legislation, passing our bills because of the case study that we have. Now, the simplest thing to do is go to people who've been transgender, gays, lesbians or whatever, and study their lives. And go in the comment section and tell me if I'm right or wrong. That's the best thing we can do. Go to these people to say, listen, I want to interview you. Tell us about your life as a transgender. How do you feel? What informed you to be transgender? And then from there you gather information to come to a conclusive conclusion. So I was just looking around the internet and I found this story, which was very interesting for me. So I wanted to share it with you briefly. And like I said, you can check the heading. You can just Google yourself. You'll find a lot of stories of transgender on the internet. So you can also be informed. I can't play everything because then my videos are going to be long. But let's just listen to this story.
I lived 8 years as Laura Jensen until I woke up and realized that it was totally insane to live this out. The first time that it happened in the 50s was Christine Jorgensen, but Jenner took it to the next level, and then 2015 it began to explode.
Are you a woman?
Yes, for all intents and purposes, I am a woman. My brain is much more female than it is male.
Ladies and gentlemen, the courageous, the stunning Caitlyn Jenner.
We're ruining an entire generation of children. I find even hearing about it and reading about it so repugnant and so destructive to children.
Trans members of this family all love each other so proudly, and they all...
Bringing drag performers together with little kids is kind of a perfect relationship.
There are people whose gender might be a little bit of both or might even be neither.
And it's time that this stuff needs to end. We need men and women to step up and say, stop this nonsense. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. You know, my upbringing was pretty much a typical California upbringing in Los Angeles in the early 40s. It wasn't really anything remarkable. At least not until my dad began to take me over and drop me off at my grandma's house. Grandma was a seamstress and made dresses. And I became very curious about her work, and my curiosity led to her making me a purple chiffon dress that she made just to fit my perfect little 4-year-old body. You know, at first it felt really exciting to have somebody telling me how wonderful and cute I was. But what I didn't realize was happening is the second Grandma began to tell me how cute I looked in that purple dress, what she was really saying was that there was something radically wrong with the little boy that I really was. And so that begins this sort of creepy kind of psychological and emotional destruction that starts with inside a young boy, 4 years old, who doesn't know what the consequences are going to be about putting on a dress at 4 years old and keeping it.
So guys, what is important here is that history never lies and experiences must never be forgotten. We must listen to the people that we are speaking about. When you speak about men abusing women, you need to sit down with men and say, listen, why is it that you guys are abusing women? So when it comes to activists against gender-based violence, I don't want to see women speaking amongst women and telling each other how can they better the situation. It's not going to help. Have men in the conversation. Men are the problem. And speak to the men and say, listen, you guys are killing women. You guys are killing your wives, your girlfriends, your children. What is wrong with you? And get the answers from the men. The same with this LGBTQ movement. Speak with them. Listen to them and understand them from their perspective. And like I said, you don't only speak to the new guys that just got into LGBTQ now or are doing transgender now. You listen to the older people and you listen to the young people as well. You must be diverse in terms of your research scale. And let's just listen to a much younger person, a pretty older person. Let's listen to the younger people and hear what is it that they are saying.
My name is Chloe Cole, and I am a 17-year-old detransitioner from the Central Valley. I was medically transitioned from ages 13 to 16. My parents took me to a therapist who affirmed my male identity, and the therapist did not care about causality or encourage me to learn to be comfortable in my body. He brushed off my parents' concerns about the efficacy of hormones, puberty blockers, and surgeries. My parents were given the threat of suicide as a reason to move me forward in my transition. My endocrinologist, after 2 to 3 appointments, put me on puberty blockers and injectable testosterone. At age 15, I asked to remove my breasts. My therapist continued to affirm my transition. I attended a top surgery class that was filled with around 12 girls that thought they were men. Most were my age or younger. None of us were going to be men. We were fleeing from the uncomfortable feeling of becoming women. I was unknowingly physically cutting off my true self from my body, irreversibly and painfully. Our trans identities were not questioned. I went through with surgery. Despite having therapists and attending the top surgery class, I really didn't understand all of the ramifications of any of the medical decisions I was making. I wasn't capable of understanding, and it was downplayed consistently. My parents, on the other hand, were pressured to continue my so-called gender journey with a suicide threat. I will never be able to breastfeed a child. I have blood clots in my urine. I am unable to fully empty my bladder. I do not yet know if I am capable of carrying a child to full term. In fact, even the doctors who put me on puberty blockers and testosterone do not know.
Maybe a injection at this point, but I can't grow any facial hair, like nothing is happening. I mean, obviously I still like wearing makeup and stuff, but makeup and hair does not make a woman. So I've been so delusional for all these years, and I just wish my family and friends weren't so supportive of my transition, you know, and I wish they sat me down and talked to me and said, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Maybe you'll grow out of this. I have so much to say, and all the things that I say are not going to be, like, perceived well by trans community, but I don't care. I'm leaving trans community. At this point, I identify as non-binary person. Any pronoun is fine. If you see me as a man, that's fine. You can call me he. If you see me as a woman, you shouldn't. I'm not a woman. I thought I was one, but I'm not. And, sorry, like, honestly, I just don't know what else to say. And I know some of you guys thought I was trans and you guys looked up to me maybe, and like, but I've made a huge mistake that I cannot take back. I completely miss my sex drive. I miss my penis, and I completely fucked up, whatever.
Okay, so for me, what stood out in that clip that I just played you guys now is that she's saying she wished her friends, her family was not that supportive in terms of this. And like I said, we're doing research. We're doing research on King Said So. We do research, we present the facts. You're not hearing it from my mouth, you're hearing it from them. I'm going to speak, guys, later on what this means for Africa, what this means for the EFF, and then what this basically means for you and I. Okay? So you have the issue with the Western world is that you can identify as a as a female or a male or however you feel. So what happened in this prison is that a male prisoner identified himself as a female, and they took him to a female maximum prison, and then he impregnated 2 females there. This is a male. What you okay? Let me okay, but let's say this. You also have males competing against female in MMA, mixed martial art, in jiu-jitsu. You find male who are transgender to females competing in weightlifting, breaking the females' world records with ease, because women and men can never compete on an equal playing field when it comes to physical things. I don't care what you say. I know there are ladies that can beat up some weak men, but if you take any 17-year-old boy or a 20-year-old boy, he can beat up most people, most women. He can beat he can even beat women that are in professional boxing or whatever. If they meet in the street and you take a full grown 19-year-old boy, I'm telling you, chances are they're gonna win. I'll put my money on them to win, unless that female boxer is Clarissa Shield or something, because that's a goat. So you see that happening in prisons. Now you ask yourself, what is this? What are we doing as Africa?
100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment.
I've now been living as a woman for 28 years, and I fully regret this.
I can't believe this happened. I ruined my life.
Today's video has some sensitive information, content, so just be wise on how much you let your kids watch this, what you choose to share with them. The first video we're going to look at is of a young woman who has transitioned to a so-called man, and now she regrets it. I want to take a look at that in many other cases as well. Here we go.
I'm angry. What's going to happen to the kids and the youth? I'm sad for humanity and the children and what's going to happen.
Okay. And and with that, there are some transgender people, because of what they believe in their minds, they're saying, listen, I'm having periods. And that is why social media is so dangerous for our children in terms of what content they are consuming there. Because I ran across a video where a transgender male saying, who is transgender to a female, obviously, has saying that she is I'm saying she's experiencing periods, and you know, as a human born with male organisms and everything, as a male, there's no way you're going to have your periods. But let's just listen to what she says, and let me play some other few videos so that you guys can get more information.
Okay, sweetie, so apparently you're not wanting to understand or listen. So, hi, I'm Mama Rose. I am a transgendered woman. I go by she, her, they, them pronouns. And I can tell you right now, my period I experience every month is very real, very valid, and very painful. But you know what? You go ahead and keep invalidating trans women. You go ahead and keep telling them that their experience is not real.
God is non-binary. The Church of England is considering removing all gendered language around God. And thank goodness. You know, if man's created in God's image and woman is created in God's image, then God must be trans. Everyone deserves the chance to relate to God on their own terms. God is for everyone of every gender.
Left-wing gender ideology is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well, that's
how do you define a
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, you know, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct. Is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? You know, cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
You used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right? So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
That doesn't-
And so
I'm not
trans
asking-
women are women too. And you want to hold on.
Trans
You want to reduce.
You won't even
Listen.
tell me
You
what
want
the
to
word
reduce.
means, though. So
You
that's
want to
the
reduce
problem.
women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals,
No.
our chromosomes, right? That's what you're
What
saying.
you want to do
that
is
that's what we are doing
what
today.
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
Okay. Okay, so that is enough. That is enough. I think we have done enough research. I think it's time to come back home and come back to our me driving into the conclusion of this video. I think I'm gonna make 2 videos. I'm gonna, after they do their march, I think it's on the 4th of April. I'm going to make another video to address how I feel about that march and that picket, but of course informed by, like I said, this is one of those channels in YouTube that you're going to get facts only. If you watch my videos where I was speaking about my sponsors, one of my main and only sponsor I have right now is Why Not. Okay, I told you guys I had 2 other people that approached me, small companies in Kimberley, that approached me to say, listen, King, we want you to we want to sponsor you, but every month with a little bit of money, not much, but just so that you can advertise it. But you can't take a stand against LGBTQ because we stand for them. And because of that, I had to withdraw from that. I'll say, listen, it's fine, let's not go. Not because I am against the LGBTQ movement, no, but because you are not going to dictate to me how I think. I'm not one of those people you can buy with money. I'm just not one of those people. I don't care about money. In fact, thank God we are doing well. We are not one of those struggling YouTube channels of people, content creators that are looking for any cent from anyone. I'm very happy with Why Not. I'm happy with their boss. I can even call him for advice for videos that I do, and he advised me. And I told you guys I've got another person who is my legal brain, who is almost 20 years older than me, that I call. I say, listen, I'm doing this topic. What do you think? So that I get covered legal wise on my channel. So, and like I said, anything that you say on the internet will come back to bite you or come back to save you. That's it. And I don't want to find myself coming back and regretting what I said. That is why I said, let us be informed with facts before we make an opinion. So your opinion must have that meat because it's backed up by facts. So what Julius Malema is doing, is it right or wrong? Okay, let me start with the Ugandan government. I think they are addressing the matter in a very aggressive way. I have to say that. Life imprisonment for being gay or trans gay or whatever, I think that is a little bit extreme. But remember what I said to you guys. When you think something is wrong, you have to come back and give us an alternative way of doing things. And I don't have an alternative way to doing things. I believe every government in every country, according to its majority rules, must practice their rights to govern their country. You cannot, from South Africa, be wanting to control what Lesotho does when the Lesotho people want to do things that certain way. So clearly this parliament of Uganda and Rwanda and Zambia and all of those countries, they are steadfast to say, listen, this is not going to happen in our country. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? And I always want to take a step back and sit and say, listen, if God forbids one of my child comes out and say, listen, I'm gay or whatever, lesbian, how would I feel? Will I feel nice if there was a death penalty on their head for being gay? Will I feel, that is why you must take decisions for children when they are still young. When they get older, they are free to do what they want. Once they reach 21, 18, or once they get out of your house and they feel they are grown-ups, then they are free to do whatever they want, and you cannot be held responsible for whatever. But as young children, as 4 or 5, and you start to see patterns, I believe within your right as a parent to try and guide your child to the right direction. Coming back to the Uganda government, do I think what they are doing is right or wrong? I'm standing right in the middle to say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But are they within their right to do it? Yes, they are within their right to do it. If you can say LGBTQ movement is, if you can say, like in South Africa, gay people can marry each other, if you can say that and you are within your right to say that, then it is equally so that the people who say no to that movement are also correct. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear what I'm trying to say? I hope I did not mess that up too much. So for me, I'm okay with what they are doing, whether I agree with it or not. I'm okay with what the Ugandan government is doing. And coming back to Mr. Malema, they are very sensitive topics that Mr. Malema can address. Not to say this one is less sensitive or more sensitive in Africa, but he chose this LGBTQ movement to try, EFF has got a footprint in Africa. So he's trying to address this to, I think, as a publicity stunt to make him more famous that side. And I believe he chose the wrong topic. And I think that might come back to bite him back in South Africa, where in South Africa, this LGBTQ movement has not really taken flight properly. You do find a lot of gays, lesbian and trans people, but the society in Africa has not in South Africa has not completely opened to those ideas. And going there as if you are representing. And another thing with LGBTQ movement is that they want extra rights. They don't want equal rights. They want their own rights. You need to give them their own rights. That's one thing I have a problem with. If you are a woman, you've got women rights. That's it. If you are a man, you've got human rights. That's it. But if you're LGBTQ, then you have to have extra rights. You have to have a right to name yourself. You have to have a right to associate. Other rights that has nothing to do with human rights. So for me, that is my main problem I have with them. You understand? Not them as people, but them as them fighting for other rights. And I will always have a problem with a person who's born a male trying to force us to believe that he's a woman, then going into female sports and competing. In with females. That is completely wrong. Like I said, I know men are strong, and this video is going to be unnecessarily long. But the long and short of it is this, and I apologize for a lengthy video, is that we as Africa have to now go back to ourselves and take a time to reflect. I told you guys on my other videos about the unnecessary distractions that eludes us, that takes us away from the black agenda. This is one of them. We are not talking about one Africa, one land. We are not talking about one Africa, one language. We are not talking about an Africa without borders and an Africa, we are speaking about LGBTQ movement. And this is going to last a long time, and it's going to take headlines in America, in Europe, everywhere, because these are the topics that they want us to address. They don't want us to address that we as Africa can close all our borders and not export anything, and Africa is the only continent that can survive without other continents. Russia needs us. China needs us. America needs us. We don't need anyone. We as Africans can do on our own, but the problem is that we as Africans are also divided. So in our division, we fall. And that is not only to this topic of LGBTQ movement. It's about the sanctions that are on Zimbabwe that are affecting the neighboring countries. We of Africa can stand together and say, listen, take those sanctions out. These people must stop stealing gold from Zimbabwe, and they must start buying it in the proper channels. That will change. The whole world will listen to us as Africans, but we don't have leaders, and I'm afraid in Africa, we don't have credible leaders. Now we have one of the son of the soil, Julius Malema, guy that we idolize as a person who stands for Africa. Now addressing this topic, it's good. It's human right. I don't want people to be hanged and killed for being lesbians and whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Please don't misquote me on the comment section. But I'm saying it is another distraction to the black agenda. The black agenda always take a back seat, and this type of topics take the front seat. And the next thing we know, half of the year is gone. The next thing we know, the whole year is gone, and we did not address anything that affects black people as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? It's your boy King053, Mr. Easy Money. Go on the comment section. Please, let's break this one out. And tell me, when you comment, tell me where you are from. Whether you are commenting from a different country or here in South Africa, just tell me which province or town you are coming from, or you are commenting from, so that I can get a vast understanding of where you're from. Is transgender a thing in your community? Do you see a lot of gay people? Are you okay with it? What are you saying with this Ugandan government doing whatever you do? And when I went on the EFF page, sorry, in closing, guys, when I went on the EFF page, I went down and read the comments, and I'm going to post some of the comments here so that you guys can see the comments. And many people, if not 90% of the comments, were against the EFF doing this. And I wonder who is advising Mr. Malema to fly to fly all the way to Uganda to go and support the LGBTQ. Not saying it's wrong or right. I wonder what is pushing him. Is there someone in his family that is like that? Why is it that Malema is going there to do this? Is it really about human rights? Is it really? It's very interesting. I'm posting all the comments, guys. You guys can read it for yourself. You can go on the EFF official page with the blue tick on Facebook. That's where I got my information from. And you read the comments, and you can clearly see that the people are not with this. But Mr. Malema is going there. So we wish him a safe trip. I hope he doesn't get there and get hurt or anything. I hope the march, like the EFF shut down, the march is going to be a safe one, and the Ugandan government is not going to send a police to shoot and kill people on the streets. I hope that does not happen. So it's very interesting that the EFF has taken this stance. But from what I'm reading, from their letter, I think this stance is taken by Malema himself. But Malema, anyway, the CIC is the EFF, so we have to respect what they are doing that side. It's your boy King053. If it's your first time on this channel, this is a commentary channel podcast where I speak about things that affect us in this world, whether in South Africa, abroad, or wherever. As long as it's an interesting topic, it's a trending topic, and it's worthwhile of me to talk about, I'll do it. Do commentary, but my commentary is supported by facts. I love posting facts before I speak about my opinion, so that my opinion can be supported by facts. Speak a little bit about boxing and MMA here and there, soccer here and there, because I'm a sport person. But I will appreciate it if you click the like and hit that subscribe button and let's grow together in this channel. Tell me, it's the first time you're seeing my channel, and all this time, where are you? But anyway, it is a new channel, so I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for me. I appreciate everyone that has subscribed on my channel. Thank you, Nyabonga, guys. I love you so much. I'm doing this for you guys. Sorry for such a long video, but unfortunately this one I had to break it down nicely for you guys, and we're gonna do part 2 after they do the match. Until next time, see you.
At White Knot Technologies, we specialize in bags, embroidery, branded wear, and screen printing. We provide the finest quality for affordable price and fast turnaround time. We make sure you'll be satisfied with your order. Visit us at 18 Fisher Avenue, Epping.